You want to know how I ended up marrying a man who runs a criminal empire? It started with a mistake, a stupid, desperate, red lace mistake, and a broken heart over an idiot named Daniel. I was just trying to prove something to myself, standing in my tiny Range Street department in New Haven. What I ended up doing was sending a confidence-boosting selfie to the most dangerous, ruthless, and devastatingly attractive crime boss in the tri-state area. My name is Zara Jenkins, and this is the story of how I accidentally seduced the dragon. The rain on my window was a drummer setting the pace for my absolute misery. It was December, cold and gray, and for the third hour, I was scrolling through Daniel's Instagram. Daniel, my ex-boyfriend of 3 years who dumped me via text 8 months ago, claiming he wasn't ready for commitment. Apparently he was, just not with the black woman who loved him. His new fiancée, a blonde named Melissa, looked like she stepped out of a sailboat catalog. They looked sickeningly happy. I put on my best armor. It was a riot of blood-red French lace and sheer silk. It felt cool and slick against my cinnamon-toned skin, an expensive, reckless purchase that made me feel dangerously capable. I carefully applied my makeup, smoky coal around my deep-set eyes, a defiant crimson on my lips. I struck a pose on my bed, my wild, dark curls tumbling over my shoulder. I felt the familiar click of the camera and saw the photo. It was fire. I was a whole snack, a woman who definitely still had it. Still got it, right? Need the boost, girl. My thumb, slick with adrenaline and cheap lotion, slipped. I didn't tap Veronica's contact. I tapped Mr. K, Tower Management. The photo was sent, delivered, to my building management contact, saved from a minor plumbing disaster last year. A wave of nausea hit me so hard I stumbled back. No, no, no. The sound was a strangled yelp. I am so unbelievably embarrassed. Please pretend you never saw that. I tried to recall the photo, but my old phone failed me. The damage was done. I buried my face in a pillow, the silky lace suffocating me. I sent my thirst trap to my landlord. I was utterly mortified. The silence lasted 3 minutes. It was agonizing. Then my phone buzzed. Once. Twice. Mr. K, Tower Management. My heart hammered against my ribs, a loud, frantic thump, thump, thump. I feared a scolding, a professional reprimand. Apology unnecessary. Text 2. The photo was appreciated. My throat closed up. Appreciated. I read the next texts, and a cold dread began to seep into my bloodstream. You are even more beautiful than I imagined, Zara Jenkins. Text 4. Keep the lace. Text 5. I am buying you dinner. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Don't be late. He knew my full name. Who was this? This wasn't a standard property manager. This was something cold and commanding. I don't know who you are. I'm not going anywhere with you. This is harassment, I typed, my fingers shaking. His reply was immediate, chillingly certain. It is not harassment when it is fate. I will send the car. You will be ready. 8 p.m. Text 7. Zara Jenkins, Apt 3C, 140 West Bridge Street, New Haven. I know everything about my properties and everyone who resides in them. My breath hitched. My entire body went rigid. The fear was a physical chill, like being dunked in ice water. Sleep well, little firefly. You will need your energy for tomorrow. I don't like tired guests. I was trapped. Then, one final buzz. It was a photo. A high-resolution image of a stunning penthouse view, all glass and expensive brutalist furniture. In the reflection, a man, tall, broad, in a bespoke suit, stared back. His eyes, even blurry, were obsidian chips of pure gold power. I thought it only fair you see me too. 8 p.m. tomorrow. Zara, I never wait. I didn't sleep. I felt the weight of his gaze from across the city, the red lace suddenly feeling like a collar. 8 a.m. I called Veronica. Her usual groggy morning voice evaporated the moment I finished my terrifying confession. Zara, that's not a landlord. That's a stalker with money, she hissed. He called me Little Firefly Veronica and listed my address. This is not a man I can ignore. Veronica, bless her, got to work. 10 minutes later, she called back. Her voice was thin with pure dread. Zara, listen to me. Marcus, my cousin, the property lawyer, recognized the photo. That's the Orion Tower penthouse. $70 million. Blind trust purchase. The buyer's identity was sealed. My grip tightened on the phone until my knuckles ached. But who? Veronica took a shaky breath. Marcus said there are whispers, scary whispers. He said the owner is tied to a powerful East Asian organization, the White Tiger Syndicate. The man in charge, they call him the Dragon. He's Jaewon Park. My vision blurred. Mafia, syndicate, dragon. I had sent a sexy photo to a crime lord. I have to block him, I insisted, jumping up to pace my small living room. I have to disappear. No, Veronica snapped. If this is Jaewon Park, ignoring him is a challenge. He doesn't take challenges. You have to reply. Be polite, be firm, but do not ghost the dragon. Mr. Park, I truly appreciate the dinner offer, but I must decline. I am not comfortable. The photo was a genuine mistake. I wish you all the best. Then I blocked the number and sank onto the floor, the cold hardwood leaching the heat from my body. Done. Over. I chose a sensible, high-necked pencil skirt and blouse for work, trying to project competence and boundaries. But as I stepped out of my lobby, the air felt different. Heavy. Electric. Parked at the curb was an impossibly sleek black Rolls-Royce Ghost. Beside it, a man stood motionless. He was tall, perfectly tailored in a charcoal suit, with dark sunglasses obscuring his gaze. He was Korean, and his entire posture radiated disciplined danger. Miss Jenkins, the man said, his voice a low, resonant rumble. I froze. Who are you? My name is Minho. My principal sent me. Tell Mr. Park I am not going to dinner. I declined the invitation. Minho's face didn't change. It was a mask of cold professionalism. Mr. Park received your message. He chose to ignore it. He finds your attempts at independence quaint. The word hit me like a physical blow. And if I refuse? 5:55 p.m. Please wear something elegant. He does not like to be kept waiting. With a curt final nod, Minho got into a separate black sedan and drove away, leaving me standing on the sidewalk, my professional clothes drenched in cold, sudden panic. I called in sick to work. I spent the day in a frenzy of pacing, the smell of fear heavy in my own apartment. I couldn't run. I had to face the dragon. 5 p.m. I forced myself to choose my armor. I pulled out my deepest sapphire blue silk gown. It was elegant, severe, and hugged my curves in all the right places. I did my makeup like I was preparing for battle, bold eyes, striking crimson lips. If I was going into the cage, I would go in looking like a queen. 5:55 p.m., the knock came. Minho escorted me to the Rolls-Royce. The interior smelled of expensive leather and a masculine cologne that was smoky, sweet, and aggressively subtle. And there he was, Jaewon Park. He was even more devastating in person. His suit was dark gray, perfectly cut. His black hair had a slight wave, and the slight silver at his temples only enhanced his intimidating aura. He looked less like a businessman and more like a Greek statue carved from obsidian. His eyes, those dark, intense eyes, locked onto mine the moment I slid onto the seat. I felt the heat of his gaze on my skin, possessive and slow. "Zara," he said, his voice a rich baritone, like the vibration of a deep cello string. "You look exactly as I imagined you would, more beautiful than the photograph." I immediately put space between us. "Mr. Park, this is not a date."
I am here because I was coerced. This is a mistake, and I am not comfortable. He smiled, a slow, chilling upturn of his lips. I appreciate the fire, Zara. Most people in my presence are paralyzed. I am intrigued by your audacity. Tell me, where does this spirit come from? It comes from wanting to go home, I snapped. You are currently going to the Velvet Clove. A private room is reserved. The Velvet Clove, the most unattainable restaurant in the city. I can't afford that. You are my guest. You will not pay. You are safe with me. I have no intention of harming you. But I do intend to know you, the woman who sent me the perfect accidental photograph and then had the sheer nerve to tell me to delete it and forget her. He leaned closer, and the intoxicating scent of his cologne filled my senses. My heart hammered. You are terrifying, bold, and arguing with a man you believe to be the dragon of the White Tiger Syndicate. You shine too brightly for my world, little firefly, and I want to hold the light. My throat was dry. I swallowed hard. What exactly is your world, Mr. Park? He held my gaze, his eyes intense and unnervingly honest. I think you already know the answer. But tell me, Zara, do you honestly feel like you have a choice right now? The truth was a bitter pill. No, I whispered. I feel like I am trapped in a gorgeous, very expensive cage. He smiled, and this time, the smile was genuine and startlingly attractive. Then let me make your cage comfortable. For tonight. The private room at the Velvet Clove was dimly lit and sensual, with dark wood and silk cushions. Jaewon and I sat facing each other across a low table. The atmosphere was thick with tension and the subtle scent of rare spices. "Tell me about yourself, Sarah Jenkins," Jaewon commanded, pouring me a glass of fragrant sake. "Why? You've run a full background check." "I have the facts. I want the feeling," he countered. The woman who took that photo was proving her worth. Who made her doubt it? His perception was shocking. He hadn't seen lust, he'd seen pain. "Daniel, he broke my heart, got engaged 6 months later." Jaewon's eyes narrowed, instantly dismissive. "He let you go. That is his only defining characteristic. An idiot. Tell me what makes your eyes fire like that. What makes you happy?" And I talked. Against every instinct, I talked. About the smell of ink, the thrill of a perfect design layout, my obsession with old black and white films. He listened with frightening intensity. Course after course of incredible, delicate Japanese fusion arrived. I tasted things I'd never dreamed of, the flavors exploding on my tongue. "This is incredible," I murmured, savoring a melt-in-your-mouth piece of Wagyu beef. "I'm glad you enjoy it. You have a beautiful laugh, Sarah. You should use it more." "It's hard to laugh when I'm having dinner with a man who basically forced me to be here." He leaned forward, his voice dropping to a dangerous level. "I am not the one who coerced you. That man was your ex. I am the man who is trying to show you what you missed out on." Then came the question that stole my breath. "Tell me honestly, are you attracted to me?" My face flushed hot, my pulse racing. I tried to deflect, to speak, but the words were lodged in my throat. "Yes or no, Zara? I deal in absolutes." The admission felt reckless, dangerous, and true. "Yes," I whispered. His smile was a slow, devastating victory. "Good, because I am very attracted to you, and I pursue what I want completely." He rose, and instead of returning to his side of the table, he moved to sit beside me. The proximity was overwhelming, a sudden, searing heat. "You will never be in danger for me. You are my firefly. I protect what shines for me." His hand reached out, gently tucking a curl behind my ear. His touch sent a blinding, delicious shockwave through me. "I am asking you to give me a chance. Let me take you on a real date." "If you say no, I will respect it. I will disappear. But I don't believe you want to say no." I looked into his eyes and felt the pull. This was insane, dangerous, impossible. "One date," I finally said, my voice husky. "One real date. If I don't feel it, you disappear." His smile was brilliant. "Deal." He offered his hand. I placed mine in his. The moment our skin touched, it wasn't just heat. It was a sudden, raw, spicy fire that shot straight through my core. I was completely, recklessly his. The one date became 6 months. Jaewon was a revelation. He was a ruthless force in the shadows, yes, but he was tender, thoughtful, and intensely focused on me. He sent me white lilies, my favorite, not roses. He remembered every detail. He never pressured me, but the sheer, raw intensity of his gaze made me crave his touch. I moved into his penthouse. The cold, stark beauty of the place softened as my presence. My chaos, my design sketches, my vibrant African artifacts took root. I slept in his arms every night. His protective embrace felt like the safest place in the world. One cool evening on his private terrace, Jaewon dropped his guard completely. "I am falling for you, Zara," he said, his voice heavy with vulnerability, a sound I had never expected from him. "I was taught that emotions are weakness, that caring makes you vulnerable. You terrify me because I have everything to lose now." My heart soared, terrified but soaring. "I'm scared too, Jaewon, but I think I'm falling for you." His kiss was overwhelming, hungry, and tender. It spoke of weeks of restraint and desperate devotion. His mouth claimed mine, and I melted against his hard, perfect body, the scent of him, smoke, power, and devotion, filling my lungs. "I love you," he whispered afterward, his lips moving against my temple. "You are everything." But the shadows soon reappeared. "Enjoy your gangster boyfriend. He won't last." Jaewon went cold. The terrifying, pure dragon resurfaced. "They are using you to get to me. You are not leaving this apartment. I will eliminate the threat." He returned one night with blood on his knuckles. Not his, he assured me, his voice flat. He had handled it. He had protected me. I cleaned his wounds, bandaged his knuckles, and kissed him. I should have been horrified by his violence, but all I felt was the raw, primal gratitude of a woman protected by her king. That night, things changed. Our lovemaking was no longer tentative. It was consuming. It was slow, intense, and demanding. Jaewon worshipped my body like a holy object, and I gave myself completely to this dangerous, impossible man. I loved him, and he loved me fiercely, possessively, terrifyingly. We were safe for 3 months. Then the real betrayal hit. It wasn't a rival gang. It was Daniel, my ghost of a boyfriend. He couldn't handle my happiness and realized who Jaewon Park was. He went to the FBI, offering me as leverage. Daniel remotely installed sophisticated spyware on my old work phone. Every text, every sweet, intimate photo, every encrypted calendar entry Jaewon had ever sent me, it all went straight to the federal agents. I woke up one morning to sirens and flashing blue lights filling the penthouse. Federal agents swarmed us, separating Jaewon and arresting him. I was taken to a cold, sterile interrogation room. "Miss Jenkins, we know you're not the target, but you have information," the agent said, sliding a folder across the metal table. It was a printout of my private text with Jaewon. My face flamed with shame and betrayal. "We have evidence pulled directly from your phone. It's enough to put Jaewon Park away for life. Cooperate. Testify. We offer immunity and witness protection." I stared at them, the cold metal of the table beneath my hands. "I love him. I will not betray him. He is a criminal, Miss Jenkins. Love doesn't change that." I sat there for 6 hours, refusing to cooperate. They eventually released me.
Jaewon's lawyers were that good. When I got back to the penthouse, Jaewon was waiting, his face drawn tight with a controlled fury that made the air crackle. "They have my communications, everything I sent you." I collapsed against him. "I know," he whispered, his jaw clenched. "They found a snake, someone close to you." "Daniel, my ex-boyfriend used my heartbreak against me to activate the spyware." Jaewon's eyes turned murderous. "He tried to destroy us, to send me to prison, using you. I will end him." I grabbed his face, forcing him to meet my gaze. "Jaewon, stop. I need you to listen to my voice. If you kill him, you become exactly what they say you are. You prove them right. Be better than this, Jaewon, please. Be the man I fell in love with, not the monster they want you to be." He closed his eyes, pulling me into a desperate embrace. "You ask me to let him live after he endangered you. I ask you to choose us over him. Choose the light, Jaewon, please." After a long, agonizing silence, he finally spoke, his voice heavy with resignation. "Okay, for you, Zara. I won't kill him, but he doesn't walk away clean. My lawyers will use the evidence of his hacking against him. He will be prosecuted. He will not be able to hurt us again. And us?" I pleaded. "We disappear. I have an estate in the Caribbean, private beach, far from the noise. We go there. We let my lawyers finish the fight. I am not losing you, Zara. Not to the shadows. Not to a ghost." 48 hours later, we were on a private jet, the lights of New Haven fading into the darkness. The Caribbean estate was pure, blinding paradise. White sand, turquoise water, and a silence that felt like a healing balm. For 3 months, we were simply Jaewon and Zara. He ran his legitimate holdings, but his focus was me. We cooked, we laughed, we walked the beach, and we made love under the full silver moon. My fear slowly melted away, replaced by the profound, comforting warmth of his presence. One evening on the beach, Jaewon turned to me, his dark eyes filled with a new kind of vulnerability.
I'm done, Zara, he said, his voice soft. I'm negotiating my complete exit from the organization. I'm legitimizing everything. I told you I would build a new world for you. I meant it. A world where you are safe, where I can be the man you deserve. Tears streamed down my face. You'd give all that up for me? I'd give up everything for you. He slid off the blanket and knelt on the warm sand, looking up at me. I don't have the ring yet, but I need to ask you now. Zara Jenkins, will you marry me? Will you be my light, my wife, and let me spend the rest of my life protecting you, loving you, and building a simple, honest life that is only ours? I sobbed, laughing and crying all at once. Yes! God, yes, Jaewon Park. I will marry you. He stood, kissed me with overwhelming hunger, and lifted me, spinning me around in the moonlight. I love you, he murmured into my hair. My accidental, perfect mistake. I love you too, I corrected, kissing him again. My dramatic, reformed dragon. The perfect mistake. 1 year later, Seattle. I stood in my own newly opened photography studio. The walls were covered with my artwork, my passion made real. On my left hand, a simple platinum band rested beneath the magnificent emerald and diamond ring Jaewon had given me. Jaewon, now simply Jaewon Park, a very boringly successful, completely legal businessman, wrapped his arms around my waist. He smelled of cedar and clean linen, not danger, but the power was still there, coiled and comforting. He kissed my neck. That is my favorite piece, he said, nodding toward a photo of our two hands intertwined, one light, one dark, their wedding bands stark against the contrast of our skin. Mine too. I sighed, leaning back against my husband. It's funny, isn't it?
If I hadn't made that mistake, hadn't accidentally sent you that photo, I'd still be mourning Daniel, and you'd still be a miserable king of a criminal empire. Jaewon turned me to face him, his eyes filled with that familiar, intense devotion. The wrong number was the best choice of my life, Zara Park. You are my light. I love you. I love you too, Jaewon Park. He kissed me, right there in the middle of my gallery, in front of everyone. A long, possessive, deeply loving kiss that tasted of devotion and sweet, raw honesty.